Yo, yo, yo. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Welcome to the See Through podcast. I'm your host, Boog. What's up, y'all? Doing something a little new. Want to do something new for 2021. Just kind of expand on some things. Um, do something a little different and unexpected to a degree. Some that like know me. This probably not uh, a shock to them. So, but for others, for me to have this type of podcast, where we're gonna be diving into all type of topics, complete transparency, and so I decided to do this kickoff and share some of my own stories, experiences, or whatever. But the main focus of this podcast um, is to hopefully help some other people who may be able to identify with some of these stories. Um, Maybe not mine, but I will be having guests on the show. And, everybody has their own unique story about what they've gone through, what they've been through. Um, and so the goal is to, help somebody and help facilitate healing in people's lives. And I think, you know, it's really important now. The pandemic has showed us, a lot of things that we may have held on to, a lot of things that we, um, you know, placed on the pedestal, things that, we thought were uber important. They really aren't. They're not as important as we may have originally thought. And so I know a lot of people that I'm connected to who've had a chance to kind of sit back, reevaluate things in their lives. Um, some people have, um, had progress. Some have not. Um, but all in all, I think has been a great time for a lot of people to really just sit, be still, get away from some of the hustle and bustle. We go through this adult life, we're always busy, always going from the next thing to the next thing, from work to doing with the kids or to dating or to, if you're married, trying to juggle the responsibilities of being a husband or a wife, as well as being a parent, and then still, doing what you got to do for, job, career, and all that good stuff. So just wanted to, dive into some things. What I would like you to do, if you could, is please share this stream. We are live on Groove Radio Detroit. We're live on Mixcloud, Twitch, Facebook, and also my YouTube channel. So again, I appreciate you for tuning in tonight, giving up some of your time to, sit here with me and kick it with me. Hopefully, you guys will join in on the chat. If you have a comment, as things go on, as we move forward, feel free to drop a comment, and we can have some dialogue tonight. Like I said, I'm definitely the main focus, at least for today, is for me to, share some of my story, share some of the things that I've done, I've been through, um, and yeah, hopefully it helps somebody, and that's the main goal of this podcast. You know what I'm saying? So we're keeping it raw. It's gonna be uncut. Everything ain't gonna be pretty. Everything ain't gonna be nice or political. You know what I'm saying? I'm not keeping things politically correct. It's my damn show. So I'm gonna say what I want to say on this mug. Um, but like I said, I just have this real um really deep passion for helping people, like for real, like the only medium that I've really used to help people, in a sense, really has been music. And for a time when I was really active in church, that was really the only other time where I was in a position, where I could really, serve people, serve the community, and whatever. But music has been the main outlet, which has been a great thing, because I've been able to connect with so many people from all walks of life, from different backgrounds, from different fields. So it's been really good to me. And so this is just one way that I can, really like give back and pour into others, as well as continue to facilitate some of my own healing in my own life. I've healed from a lot of things, and so I'm just grateful that I can come, um, and hopefully be like a beacon of light for some folks. Um, so again, for those that are just tuning in, thank you so much. This is a see-through podcast. It's kind of like a play on words, because I wanted this show to be about transparency, and so a synonym for transparency is see-through. Um, but I wanted to shorten it. It's almost like a see through you, so that's why the U is capitalized. Just kind of like a play on words. Something that I guess you say I'm into. Um, I love using words and phrases that can have multiple meanings or whatever. So, and I'm keeping, like I said, I'm keeping this raw and uncut. I'm at the crib. I wasn't trying to do no fancy backdrop. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the music. So it ain't no music stuff right now. This is really just me just kicking it with y'all. I got a couple people who I asked recently to hopefully they'll partner up with me or whatever, because I believe they'll be able to add a lot of value to this podcast. If you're somebody that would be interested in being a guest on this show, or if you are someone that has a list of resources, like some people that are in the mental health field, people that are counselors, educators, anybody that can really just add value. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be able to connect with good people. Um, there's so many things that's going on in our own households, but just as well as other people's households. Like our community, a lot of people in our communities are, having all type of struggles that we don't even know about. They've been dealing with different things, and one of the things that I see, especially in the Black families, in the Black community, is that we are very secretive. Secrecy is like a really, really big thing. And in my own experience, I've seen secrecy tear some families apart. You know what I'm saying? We got this thing, got this thing of sweeping things under the rug, not saying anything. You got people who have been dealing with rape and molestation. Their families not saying nothing, people not speaking up. So these people grow up and they have these traumas that are attached to them that they hold on to until they become adults. And so then it just creates all these other problems when they start projecting on people. They have issues with dealing with their emotions. They have all types of mental issues, um, and it just kind of like permeates through their life, and through others that are connected to them or whatever. And so again, so I'm doing this really is like I said, my way of you know adding something, um, to this world. All of us can help little by little. Um, you know, that's the other thing that I kind of want to focus on too, is just letting people know like it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Um, it's okay to lean on others. Um, but I will say having discernment in who you deal with is really, really important. You don't want to just tell anybody um, your business. You know what I'm saying? But you definitely need to have outlets. You need to have good people who not only are willing to listen, who won't pass judgment on you, but will, you know, lift you up, will encourage you. They will hold you accountable. They're not going to just allow you to pass the buck on things that you also had a role in. A lot of times we things happen and we just want to be the victim and it's on the other person. You know what I'm saying? We don't take any responsibility for our part in whatever the chaos was or is. You know what I'm saying? Um so yeah, so we gonna be diving into some stuff. um like I said, I'm gonna start with just me today. That's what today is about. And I'm definitely going to be checking the comments to see who's saying what. Will, what's up, homie? Thank you for tuning in, bro. So I got people tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, um, Mixcloud. I appreciate you, all of you, for tuning in. I'm sure there's some other things that you could have been doing tonight or whatever. So I appreciate you guys. Um, so I'm gonna go through real quick. I'm gonna see who's in the room. I see I got some comments. Let me see what's popping real quick. Shout out to my cousin George in LA. What's up, cuzzo? Jay on my grind. What's up? Ellie San Diego. What's up, girl? I miss you, friend. What's going on? Shout out to my boo thing. She here with me and she also tuning in. She like my inspiration, y'all. So for those that don't know, a lot of stuff that I do is really inspired by her. And she probably don't be thinking I'd be listening to her or I'd be paying her no attention. You know what I'm saying? But she always dropping some random nuggets on my ass and I just be like, okay, I need to be doing it. So I'm happy to have a partner, you know what I'm saying, who has my back. So no attention. So again, so if you're just tuning in, welcome to the See Through Podcast. Again, this podcast is just about being transparent. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be bringing people on each week who have their own unique stories, who are in a place where they're okay with sharing things that have gone on in their life. Like I said, the hope is to help others. As far as help facilitate healing in their own lives. I want to make sure that this podcast is relevant, to people, being able to, so we can, I just want to be able to focus on mental health, emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, and also financial health. The Black community, we got so many things that kind of keeps us from being where we need to be in all of those areas or whatever. But I think we can knock those things down and get past those things little by little. We all have a part in that. You know what I'm saying? I love people in general. So if you know me, I'm cool. I love people. I'm not the one that's gonna be judging you for something you did or said and that type of deal. That ain't really how I roll. I understand that we're all human first. We all succumb to our emotions at times. And you never know what a person is dealing with. We never know what a person's triggers may be. You know what I'm saying? When we're dealing with folks. Because a lot of times when you think about it, outside of the ones that you're really, really close to, everybody that you're connected to, the relationship is more surface than it is deep. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that you don't really know about some of the people that you connected to. You know what I'm saying? Y'all cool, y'all hang out, y'all may work together, y'all may do events together. You know, it could be anything. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of it is just in passing, or you more like associates than like buddy best friend type deal. You know what I'm saying? And so you got people who walking around with all type of issues that you have no idea about, and then you see somebody snap and you like, whoa, where'd that come from? And um yeah, I'm hoping that through this podcast, um and through this platform, because really there are other people that are on Groove Radio Detroit, that are already doing some really really cool things and connecting with people in the community or whatever, and covering a vast amount of topics or whatever. So and actually I'm gonna shout out my Groove Radio Detroit family real quick, before I get into my first story that I'm gonna share. So shout out to Jervis Canty, shout out to Leah Cartwright, aka Lily. Shout out to my sparring session crew, Professor G, Tangerine, Jay on my grind, my man Brock. Shout out to Ron Dance, and the Ron Dance Show crew, and Alex Washington. All these people right now have shows on the station. And so I appreciate them being a part of, building the foundation of Groove Radio Detroit. And it's been cool. I'm really excited about, things that are on the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited about building things with my people. Shout out to Tangerine and Marty, who just started their brand new podcast this past Sunday. Again, shout out to my lovely wife. She's gonna be doing a podcast too. Y'all gonna be seeing that soon. So shout out to her, my baby Vine. Hey boo.
Hello.
Let me see what else. Who else? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Yeah, I just drew a blank. It's all good. But shout out to all my homies that's been supporting the station, checking in to the shows. We got some new stuff coming up real soon. Now I'm just really excited about. So we're gonna get into this first little story that I'm gonna share about me, about myself. There are a lot of people that deal with rejection, right? So rejection was like a really big thing in my life growing up. My esteem was really, 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 really low, Like it was terribly low. And so I dealt with a lot of teasing. Basically, I got bullied when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? For a certain period of time when I was a kid, and at one point, the fight or flight response would always kick in, and it typically was the fight response for me. But then that kind of got I want to say that flame got kind of put out or whatever, mainly because my family, particularly my parents, were really, really involved heavily into church, and so everything was about turning, the cheek. What would Jesus do type thing, like you need to just pray for him and not let it get to him. Don't respond, walk away type thing. And so after a while, that fight response turned into a flight response, right? And so I would just call myself doing the Christian thing, the right thing, that would keep me on this path to heaven or whatever. But it ended up really just being terrible for me on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Like having these conflicting feelings about, I'm letting these people, say these things or do certain things, and I wouldn't do anything back. So then you get this stigma, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, he a punk, he weak type deal because he ain't saying nothing, he ain't gonna do nothing. You can say whatever to him, you can bully him, you can take his lunch money, whatever, whatever. You can follow him home and just all type of stuff that I dealt with. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there are other folks who have dealt with bullying at some point or in some form or fashion or whatever when they was younger. Unfortunately, it's like it's been normalized. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? At least that's my experience or whatever. Um, and so, like all through my childhood, it was, you know, my childhood was just like it was good in an overall sense. My childhood was good. I didn't have to deal with some things that some of my friends grew up that I grew up with. I didn't have to deal with some of the things they had to deal with because some of my friends were verbally abused all the time. Some of them physically abused. I never had to deal with that. I never dealt with that type of situation. My parents weren't verbally abusive. They weren't physically abusive. I mean, outside of me getting my ass beat, what I'm saying, for doing bad stuff like whoopings or whatever, but never, physically harmed, um, where it would like, put me up out of here type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Or where I'm having marks on my body and looking like, I was in the ring with Mike Tyson as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So it never was that. But I dealt with a lot of traumas just dealing with um, church folk. Just to keep it all the way real with y'all. Dealt with a lot of traumas with church folk who were very, very judgmental and had all these different opinions or whatever. And for a long time, I held this hurt and this anger, towards my parents. Um, you know, Thankfully, I had some good people in my life when I became an adult that I was mentored by and that I could get guidance from. And I realized that a lot of the things that my parents did, a lot of things that they said, different moves that they was making, they was really just trying to figure it out. They was taking advice from so many different people, and because of the setting of us being in the church, heavily, especially my dad being, a preacher and going to different churches and all this and that, going to different conferences or whatever. There was a certain expectation that was placed on preachers and, for those in a family. So we had to be a certain way, you had to stand a certain way. You get to the church, you sit in a certain place, and you're supposed to act this certain way when you go to all these different places. And so that stuff affected me, on the inside. And I never said anything. Eventually as I got older, then I started having these moments of me lashing out. Um, and so I was, especially like with my dad, like I was always lashing out, mad, upset. Um, I took stuff out on my brother because of it, projecting my anger and my trauma, onto him. And I mean, he even had his own traumas, from that as well, but he had traumas that I know that were directly caused by me because I was taking on all this stuff, from my dad and my mom because I'm the firstborn. And I just didn't really have a lot of self-worth. I didn't have a lot of self-love, when I was a kid. Um, you know, um, I grew up with a mom who wasn't really affectionate, which has had an effect on me throughout my life when it comes to dealing with um, women in particular. Um, even stuff that I kind of, there are lingering, um, issues of that even now. You know what I'm saying? Like I see it sometimes, and I be trying to catch myself, but it's kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? You have these habits, and sometimes it's hard to break those habits. And so my wife is the touchy feely, and I be like, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, but it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? When you start to really see how you were affected by things as a kid, you know what I'm saying? We tend to overlook a lot of different things. And so I try to stay mindful um, of different things, even when I deal with my daughter, because I don't want her to um, have to deal with some of those things. Like I don't want my baby to ever feel like she's not good enough or she's not worth it, or that you know her parents are putting other things and other people before them. Like I had that issue too when I was a kid. Like I felt like my parents always were running to rescue um, people in church, but they wasn't really putting that extra um, um, what's the word I'm looking for? They just really didn't have that extra focus. Um, you know what I'm saying, when it came to me and my brother. At least that's my take on it when we was younger. I don't know if my brother shares that same sentiment. He may in some regards, but um yeah, I had a real issue, you know what I'm saying, when it came to that. So I resented a lot of people who we went to church with. They didn't know, but certain people that I didn't like, we would go to certain churches to visit, um, you know, and like I literally would just act out and rebel at these places, literally on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because I just didn't want to be bothered. I didn't feel like they liked us anyway. I saw a lot of things and heard a lot of things when I was younger, and so it's crazy because when I see, I've seen episodes of the show. What is it called? Greenleaf. So like some of the things that I've seen on that show, I've lived that. You know what I'm saying, with my folks. I've seen it with other folks in churches that I grew up with, and seeing how they can be, just really nasty and snakish, backstabbers. I didn't see all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't take that stuff um, to heart now. I mean, like I said, people are people. We have a tendency to put a lot of different folks on pedestals. We have these unrealistic expectations, and we forget that people are really just human first. And regardless of where you at in this world, what you doing, even for those that are in church, if you're a pastor, if you're a minister, that don't mean that all of a sudden that you're no longer human. The human element of you still is there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those folks have a lot of issues and stuff too that need to be addressed. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, some of those things aren't addressed. So I don't know if any of you um, have any of those type of experiences or whatever, but that's part of mine. So a lot of that contributed to um, the feelings of rejection that really kind of gripped me and that kept me bound. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, and then it always ended up being this extreme where it was like either I would totally withdrew or I would be like this super duper pest, so to speak. like I was an attention whore. That's what I became, an attention whore. You know what I'm saying? So what I wasn't getting at home, attention wise, like from my mom or my dad or anybody else that I thought should have been paying attention to me, I looked for that in other people. I looked for that in my classmates. I looked for that in girls when I started liking girls. And then, even that ended up turning into um, a disaster for me when I was younger too, because then I felt like, I had tons of girls who just made me feel like I was the ugly duckling. Um, I used to have these big glasses that I used to wear, and I used to be like, calling, "Oh, you wear Coke bottles and all type of crazy stuff." I was Mr. Magoo, and um, you know, my teeth bucked out at one point, so I had braces, trying to correct that because I really had this, huge issue, and then that got corrected. But then I lost my retainer, so then my teeth started to kind of like shift out again, and then I got this gap. And so for a while, just dealing with people who had something to say was like this really, really um, big deal for me, man. Like just really, really big deal. It was just, and I had a hard time, what I'm saying, dealing with folks at that time. And it really took me a long time to, really reconcile things within myself and just kind of like forgive, um, those people who I felt like had offended me. I also realized that a lot of those people that offended me during that time had their own issues that I didn't even know about. So during this whole time, I'm getting teased, I'm getting picked on, I'm getting bullied, I'm getting rejected or whatever. But a lot of them were doing it because it was happening to them as well. So you got all these things happening. Everybody got these cycles that they trapped in, and we just hurting each other. Like we all know the phrase hurt people," right? And so that's basically what was going on. They was hurting me, and in turn, then I ended up hurting other people. You know what I'm saying? But I mainly took it out on like my brother. I took it out on some of my cousins because at that time, when I was younger, my cousins were like my siblings. You know what I'm saying? I had a few cousins that I was really, really close to, and there were different times. When I recall different incidents that we had, I realized that I really was projecting what was on the inside of me onto them, like out my dissatisfaction, my hurt, my pain, my sadness. Um, you know what I'm saying? I projected that onto them, right? And so it created all type of crazy things or whatever, um, in my life or whatever. I've had a few different moments in life where I was very, very, very suicidal, especially when I was in high school. So it's my people that didn't even know in high school was coming to school. There were days that I didn't even want to come to school. I would cry on the way to school, kind of like fix myself up when I got in school so people wouldn't know or be trying to ask questions or see what's going on. And so I did that for a while, and it kind of got to a boiling point, and I really struggled my senior year in high school. Just I just kind of just my top just blew basically. I was a tea kettle, and eventually I just like that smoke, and just really my senior year was like the worst year I had in high school, because I was dealing with so much internally, just mentally and emotionally, just feeling like I wasn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? Nothing I did um, was good enough for my parents. I wasn't meeting their expectations. It was all my dad was always like, "I can't believe you my firstborn, and I why are you like this, and why you just can't do right, and it was just a whole bunch of stuff that, I was just getting, um, that was being piled on, piled on, piled on. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so, I took a lot of those things to heart. Um, and so, like I said, it affected my esteem. Senior year of high school, I'm really like going through. Um, uh, I got, I still got picked on in school. I had a few instances that senior year where I got used by some young ladies. I got used by a girl to take her to homecoming, and we get to homecoming, and then she disappear, and she don't want to talk to me, and it was almost like I was embarrassing. It was like there's no way um, she was trying to be seen at homecoming with me, type of deal. But I paid for her ticket and her food and everything, and you know, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. Senior year was just terrible. You know what I'm saying? I can laugh about it now. It's not a big deal. I don't have any issues with any of those folks that did and said some of the things that they did during that time. You know what I'm saying? I understand that we were all, young. We were all kids. A lot of us had different issues in our homes that none of us knew anything about. And when you're a kid, you really just trying to figure things out. The things that some people say can really hold a lot of weight in your life. So, and for me in particular, um, it held a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? Just people just didn't know. Um, I had a moment during senior year where I just like completely like checked out, like gave out. I mean, not gave out, but gave up. You know what I'm saying? I'd be in class and I was so out of it. You know what I'm saying? Basically at this point, I mean, depending on who you talk to, I really was depressed senior year. You know what I'm saying? Very stoic. Um, I just didn't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? It affected my schoolwork. I barely did any schoolwork. And when I was in class, I just really couldn't pay attention. Everything somebody said to me almost like pushed me over the edge. Almost got kicked out of school senior year for trying to fight somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because they was picking on me about my shoes and my clothes. You know what I'm saying? I never dressed fresh. You know what I'm saying? When I was a young kid, you know what I'm saying? I had a lot of stuff that was basically hand me downs. I was getting stuff from my cousin. I was getting stuff from my boy Earl. Shout out to my boy Earl, my cousin, my boy slash cousin. Um, Shoot, if it wasn't for him, it's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't even made it through. My senior year. Shout out to his sister Ingrid, my cousin Ingrid. I love the Smalls. Um, they basically saved my life, like for real. Um, you know, Earl had it really, really good, and so he had a really good heart. There was a lot of things that went unsaid, but because they was with me, or I was with them like all the time during those last couple years in high school, they knew, what I'm saying, that I was having issues, that I was struggling. They knew about, situation with me not being able to get certain type of clothes, not even getting clothes at certain times. Um, and so, Earl having all the like the newest stuff, the Hill figure, the Polo, Nautica, and all this other stuff that was popular back then. You know what I'm saying? He basically was, stuff that he knew that he wasn't gonna wear, he wasn't gonna keep. He threw it my way, so at least I could, in a way, fit in, because during that time, that was like really, 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 really important to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to fit in. Like I just wanted to be accepted and liked, so bad. Like it was just a really big thing. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, yeah, really, they kept me from just really just taking my life, because I was suicidal the majority of my senior year. You know what I'm saying? To the point, I almost didn't graduate on time. And technically, I shouldn't have graduated on time. And so I had an English teacher who um, we had a talk like right at the end of the school year. And so, but like I was so um, just sad. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even really get through this conversation with the teacher. And so I think that conversation kind of let him know where I was at or what was going on. And I think he knew like if he had gave me an F and I had flunked and I couldn't graduate, like that might have sent me over the edge. Like completely over the edge. That might have sent me completely over the edge. I can be honest and sit here right now and say that probably would have put me over the edge. You know what I'm saying? And so he gave me an opportunity to um, do this. Like he came up with some old random assignment where I really didn't even really have to do much at all. You know what I'm saying? In order for me to get this passing grade. Like I literally got through senior year with a 1.1 grade point average. It was the worst. It was terrible. It was terrible. You know what I'm saying? Junior year, I think my GPA was like I think I had like a 1.8 or something. It was crazy. My last 2 years were just terrible, especially senior year. I literally should have flunked out. I shouldn't have even graduated. You know what I'm saying? But and actually, besides that English teacher, it was one other teacher that gave me some grace too. Um, you know, she kind of had pulled me to the side and she was like, "You don't have to tell me what's going on." But I've noticed the change since the beginning of the year, and so um, I don't want to add to your whatever your situation may be. And so all I need you to do is to show up for this class. This I think it was like I forgot what it was. It was something where I could get this extra credit or whatever. And basically that extra credit took my grade from an F to like a C minus. Like she did me like the hugest favor. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I remember her hugging me. Um, you know, that last day of school. Um, you know, and she was like, "Hey, if you need anything, I don't know what your plans are after school. I noticed that you didn't do any college applications and or whatever, but if you need any help this summer, I'm gonna be here teaching summer school and I'll be available to help you with whatever you need. If it's filling out applications, you know what I'm saying? Or if you just need to come up here just to get away and you know what I'm saying, I can get you credits, volunteer credits, or whatever it is that you need." And so she was a really, really big help. Like I said, that English teacher, man, he saved my life, yo. Because I'm telling you, like, if he had flunked me, like that'll really put me over the edge because I was already dealing with these feelings of not being worth enough when it came to my dad. Um, and my dad already kind of had placed this pressure on me. It was like my dad had to leave his home early. You know what I'm saying? He actually got put out the crib by my grandfather like early before he even graduated from high school. And so his last couple of years of high school, he actually was working a full-time job and going to school. You know what I'm saying? So he hustled, he finished school, and then he started working at Ford not too long after. Well, no, he didn't go to Ford right away. He was working somewhere else or whatever. Um, but eventually he ended up getting into Ford. But he didn't do any more schooling after high school, so it was like a really big thing for him. Um, to see his sons graduate from high school and go to college. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't do it. And also, he had this thing where he felt responsible for my mom not finishing college or whatever because they got married, and he had me, and then he had my brother. So my mom put aside finishing college at that time, to have us to, to be a mom so they can get this family started. And so um, just those the expectations and just that projection of what he had, he put that on me as being the firstborn, and it was just like it really had me on. It had me on edge, y'all. It had me on 10, like all the time. Like I was just annoyed. You know what I'm saying? And so, I'm thankful for those teachers, though. Um, I'm thankful that they were paying attention. That's one thing I will say. Even though my time at Cass wasn't always the greatest, I met some amazing people there. I'm thankful that I'm connected to a lot of people that I went to high school with. And there were definitely some teachers who really took pride in their job. They really cared about the students, and they showed it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just them coming to work. Like they really had a huge impact and had huge influence, not only on me, but other students. I can't even imagine what other students they may have impacted during that time. Like I said, it was a lot of students then who were dealing with stuff at home that we didn't know anything about. You know what I'm saying? We all just projecting these hurts and these traumas on each other, or whatever, as kids, because we didn't know how to handle our emotions. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know how to handle those mental stresses that we had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Um, so, oh, shout out to all those in the chat. What up, Felix? Ellie, what's up? You still hanging in there? Yeah, God bless that English teacher for real. Vonda, what's up? Damien, what's up, bro? Ben, what up, cuzzo? Gary, what's up, big homie? Yeah, so shout out to everybody tuning in on Facebook. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Angela, Natasha, who are on Mixcloud. Shout out to Tiana. What's up, y'all? Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to get sidetracked. So yeah. So anyway. So senior year, I go through this crazy phase. I get to this point where, like, literally, I had all types of suicidal thoughts or whatever. But I get through graduation or whatever. We do graduation. I still kind of like had some residue from that senior year because I wasn't able to go on a senior trip. I didn't do senior photos. I damn near missed prom. Shout out to my boy Earl, my cousin Earl, for saving me on that. Him and his mom's, like, he basically changed his plans with his date, and he asked her to well, he set it up like he set it up in a way where he didn't have to tell her what was going on with me or whatever, because she knew who I was or whatever. But he basically set it up where they had all the girls that they was all supposed to go with, had them all ride together to the prom, and then all the fellas kind of like drove separate. And so I rode with him. His mom rented us a car, so we could go to prom, right? And so that really was the only way that I made it to prom. One of my friends that she actually lived 2 blocks down from me at the time, she actually drove by my house that evening when she was about to finish getting ready for prom, and wait for her boyfriend to get her, so they could go ahead to the prom. And her mom drove by my house, and I was sitting on my porch, yo. I was sitting on my porch in my tux, mad, literally on my porch crying, mad. because I was like, I ain't going to prom. F it. It really don't fuck it. It really don't matter because them niggas don't really want me at prom anyway. Like I went through every type of thought, emotion you could think of on that day, and I was just so mad. Like I literally sat out on my porch, was mad at my parents. Them niggas was like, "We out because we got this church service to go to." So now I'm even more pissed because I'm like, y'all ain't putting nothing together, so nobody can come see me off the prom. Y'all niggas wouldn't get me no car, and then on the day of, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't trying to take no pictures. Y'all ain't trying to do nothing. I see y'all come downstairs dressed up. I'm thinking y'all about to decide to chaperone me or something, and y'all like, yo, we on our way to church. You know what I'm saying? We'll see you later or whatever. We got a service. Oh, no, like go have a good time. No, here goes some money so you can have a good time at prom. Like none of that, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I was like on heat mode. I was so mad and I was so hurt. And so I literally sat on my front porch for like 2 hours. Like, and so my boy Earl had to come. He ended up calling the crib. You know what I'm saying? I told him, I was like, dog, I'm about to take my tux off. You know, fuck it, I'm staying in. Um, and he was like, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come get you. He put his mom on the phone. Um, and she was just like, you know, Larry, we're gonna make sure you go to prom. You know what I'm saying? Forget about the young lady that you was supposed to go to prom with. So what? None of that matters. What other people doing, whatever other people think, it don't matter. Go have go to your prom because later on you would think back and look back and be like, damn, I wish I'd have went to my prom. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Earl got your back. He gonna roll out with you. There's some other people there who got your back or whatever, and y'all can just go have a good time. And so that's what I ended up doing. Like I said, we last minute thing. She booked rented a car for us, and I hung out with the fellas basically, um, and it turned out to be, you know, um, pretty decent. I was still at the end of the day, even after the prom was over, I still was kind of mad just because of how everything had happened. You know what I'm saying? I ain't speak to my parents the rest of that weekend. I didn't speak to them really until graduation day. Like I was so mad. I was so mad, yo. Um, oh, shout out to my boy Chris Lamont. Shout out to my girl Tradina who tuning in on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. Chris says, I didn't know you were going through that in high school. This is tough to hear. I can relate so well. I barely graduated too. I was also supposed to be the first in the family to go to college. Yeah, man. That pressure, man. I don't know. I think it's just a thing with black families in particular because we had so many people who didn't um, graduate school or they didn't have a chance to go to college. You had a lot of folks in our parents' generations, our grandparents' generations who, school wasn't really an option. School wasn't that thing. It was like if you can get through school and you can get to where you graduate high school, you need to go right into the workforce. And so that's just kind of how things were designed. You go into the workforce or you go into the military or whatever. Um, Chris also said it was a lot of pressure that coupled with emotional issues I had in high school, especially senior year. I'm not sure how I made it through. Yeah, me too. Like I barely made it through. You know what I'm saying? Tradina says she didn't go to prom for religious reasons. Yep, I get it. That I think that was the biggest reason why my parents didn't do anything for me for prom. I ain't gonna say I think I know that that's what it was. So that whole hoopla and whatever that went along with prom and just those extra things that happened during senior year, even like with homecoming. Like I bought my own homecoming stuff. You know what I'm saying? I had a job, and so my parents was like, "Well, if you going, you got to pay for your own stuff." You know what I'm saying? I'm not buying you no suit. I ain't buying you no tux. I ain't renting no tux. It literally it took me to really like um shoot big just to get the tux that I got for prom because that same year, senior year, I had this car accident. Um that year. Um, after the second semester had started, and this lady ran a red light and hit me. Had left work that night, and I remember the night um, real vividly because I'm a huge boxing fan, right? And so at that time I worked at this KFC in Redford. I leave KFC. I could drive right down Finkel, right? My uncle stayed off of Finkel right at Outer Drive. And I had talked to them that whole week, like, when I get off work, I'm coming straight through so I can see the Roy Jones fight, right? So I do that. I had told my mom, I told my dad, I told them where I was going. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be the good son. And my uncle talked to him too, because at first, my mom was trying to be on some like, well, you already got to be out late at work because you get off at like 10 o'clock. You need to be coming home. So my uncle Don had to call her and like, hey, he gonna be straight. As soon as it's over, I'm gonna make sure he comes straight home or whatever. I check in with you when he make it. So my mom was like, all right, cool, no problem. She loved my uncle Don. It's like whatever. Go over there, watch the fight. We hype. You know what I'm saying? The fight is over. Now I do exactly, you know what I'm saying, what my uncle told me. He was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? We can talk to your mama. Keep it smooth. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and go straight home. Don't make no stops or whatever. He asked me if I had gas in the car. I'm like, yeah, I got gas. He's like, okay, cool. So I pull out. I leave off of his street, come on Outer Drive. Now I'm heading towards Finkel or whatever. And the light is red, right? I start slowing down. I'm literally maybe about 3-4 houses from the corner. The light turns green. So I go ahead and accelerate because it's a green light. At this point, I'm like 2 houses from the corner. I don't see, other cars. Now, in my peripheral, I saw the 2 cars to the left of me, like kind of pull up, but then like put on brake lights. But it didn't register to me that they were stopping because something was coming. I'm like, it's green. I'm gonna go. I'm going. So I already picked up speed, and all I see at the last second is a flash of light. Boom! This lady hit me. Now I'm in the far right. You know what I'm saying? And she knocks me past all the next 2 lanes, the next 3 lanes into this vacant lot across the street on Finkel. So this is probably like a good 75, 100 feet, you know what I'm saying, from where I was when she hit me or whatever. She ran this red light, and it turned out that she was drunk. She had been drinking that night. She had been hanging out or whatever. She was flying down Finkel. In that area, that was kind of like this, like just a thing. Late night on Finkel, on Grand River, or on 6 Mile, and even on Outer Drive. You know what I'm saying? People was like, they'd be flying because there wasn't really nobody out. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like 1 o'clock in the morning almost. It might have been past 1 o'clock in the morning, and wrecked my car. And the only thing, thank God, that the only thing that really happened was that I had bruised my knees. That was it. No broken bones. Like, based on what the car looked like after everything was said and done, and after seeing pictures of the car, like, I should have got mangled. You know what I'm saying? My knees hit the like in between, like you got the steering wheel. My legs were on either side of the steering wheel. They hit that part of the dashboard on either side of the steering wheel. And all I had was just a really bad bruise, you know what I'm saying, and contusion. So I was on crutches. I had crutches for like maybe a month or whatever. But the sucky thing about that, which is what ended up parlaying into everything that happened at the end of the year with prom Why senior trip and all that is that my dad blamed me for the accident, even though I wasn't in the wrong. I had the green light. The woman ran a red light, but my daddy was mad. It was my fault. I took his insurance rate up. It was all type of stuff. Like the senior year was just rough. We really had it out that year. You know what I'm saying? It was just really, really crazy. Natasha on Mixed Cloud, she said, my mom wasn't letting me go to prom or any other senior activity. Sucked. Yeah, I mean, I think that happened to a lot of folks. You know what I'm saying? A lot of folks that I went to school with, I ended up recalling, like, yeah, you know what? I didn't see you at prom. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was about to be going through because I wasn't about to go, but I ended up making it, and I didn't even realize. So you had people who didn't make it because that year I graduated, the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup, and so downtown was already crazy. So just trying to get down there, like we literally made it. Me and Earl made it right before they finished cutting off like almost all of the streets. But there was people who didn't make it through and couldn't come to prom because they had cut all the streets off. Couldn't nobody get to the Renaissance Center or whatever, because that's where we was at, the Renaissance for prom. And yeah, it was just crazy, man. Just some of the stuff that I dealt with that had implications because of religion. You know what I'm saying? My parents cut out a lot of things I couldn't do, and it was basically based on these things that we were taught and brought up under in church. So kind of like my girl Tradina said, she couldn't go to prom for religious reasons. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people who that happened to. They can identify with that. Chris Lamont, same thing. He said he can identify with that too. And it's then Tradina said, you got married 2 weeks after graduating high school? Wow. Okay. So did you want to get married? Like, did you do it because of, like, was it rebellion, or like, how did that happen? Like, how did you get to the point of getting married right after high school? You know what I'm saying? Was this like already in the works? Like, I'm really like curious about that. But anyway, so I guess, part of my main thing that I kind of want to focus in on is just letting you guys see that there was a myriad of things that was going on, right? But I think the biggest things that caused a lot of the issues and that were the root of the problem, that caused a lot of the traumas that I had, they had a lot to do with my upbringing, mainly our connection to church, and how religion shaped a lot of the things that we did or didn't do, a lot of things that we could say or couldn't say or whatever. And like I said, it took a long time. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I had issues with my parents into adulthood. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, I was just mad. Like, I'm gonna just keep it all the way real. I was like, y'all ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all let these niggas in church, you know what I'm saying, influence y'all in a way that brought about, hurt, you know what I'm saying, to your kids. You know what I'm saying? We should have came first, not the church coming before us. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I felt or whatever. And so it took me a really long time to get to that place to where I could forgive them. It took, being really around some good folks and some good people who were mentoring me, not only spiritually at the time, but just mentally and emotionally, helping me find this balance in life, helping me see the importance of, forgiveness and how that would help me move forward, breaking those chains allowed me to really grow and evolve for real. You know what I'm saying? Harboring things on the inside can really hold you back. Like, this doesn't mean that nothing in your life would be going right, but there's a lot of things that could be unlocked, a lot of opportunities that you could be privy to if you would just let things go. You know what I'm saying? And in a sense, is really you getting in your own way because you're refusing to let go of things that people did to you who really didn't know what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? They were influenced by all type of things. They were also going through their own things that you don't even know about. You know what I'm saying? And so to hold onto those things and still hold this offense, as if um, they really had the intent to hurt you. That's just it really messes you up. You know what I'm saying? Now there are some people who learn these habits, who who take on these characteristics or whatever, and they do things with intent. But it's a learned behavior. You know what I'm saying? We're not born um, into this world as hateful beings, as hateful humans. You know what I'm saying? We learn those things, and so you just never know what type of environment somebody grew up in, who they were exposed to when they were younger. You know what I'm saying? You never know what the real dynamics of their family was. You know what I'm saying? When they were coming up. You know what I'm saying? So, um, Tradina said yes, it was already in the works. I did want to get married, but I also did because of religious upbringing. Okay, so you got married because of the religious reasons, but it was already in the works. Okay, that's what's up. I can keep it all the way real. For the longest time, I ain't want to get married. I was like, F that. I was, I was just, I was keeping all the way 100. You know what I'm saying? Marriage was kind of like, it was like, okay, I want to get married, but then it was like, hey babe, I need a favor. Can you hand me the charger for this computer? My joint's about to die. Let me get it together before it cut off on y'all. Thank you kindly, my love. Thank you. All right. Man, that's crazy. So, Tradina, you got married right out of high school. Wow. Okay. So I've been doing all this talking. We like an hour in now. I really don't plan to be on here too long. I got some. I really want to dive deeper into, what I'm saying, some of these things that I kind of talked about today. Next week, I got some guests that I'm gonna have on the show. Um, I'll be posting it once they're confirmed or whatever. But there's a lot of people who have dealt with, what I'm saying, these different traumas um, when they were younger, and it's crazy how there's a lot of people who identify with the religious aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? How a lot of things ended up, coming to be as far as the traumas that we deal with. Now, I mean, this doesn't apply to everybody, of course, um, but for a lot of people, just because of how um, religion is intertwined um, in our culture, especially in the Black community. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people end up, getting hurt because of it. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so, um, if you have a comment, I want some of y'all to comment on some of the things that you yourself have dealt with, if you don't mind sharing. We can talk about that for a little bit before we get out of here. Not trying to hold y'all too long. It's a Tuesday night, you know what I'm saying? Um, for some of y'all, it might be past y'all bedtime. I don't know. Everybody not a night owl like me. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you, Mrs. Phillips. You said it's time for you to check out. Where the money reside? Where the money reside? Check out, cash out. Um, yeah. So anybody, if y'all got any comments, you know what I'm saying, and y'all want to add to this conversation, we can do that real quick. Um, Again, like I said, I had a lot of esteem issues. It followed me through early adulthood, all the way up until, man, I think I had esteem issues um, really up to like, I was like my early 30s, like 31, 32 maybe. Um, I started to break a lot of things between the ages of 28 up until like 32, when I really was like, I felt like, okay, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It took a while to kind of get past certain things. Um, just, coming to that place of, okay, I need to forgive these people. Um, because a lot of the people that did stuff to me, um, it wasn't intentional. You know what I'm saying? Some of them only did what they knew. They only did what they learned from somebody else. Um, there were other people who, ironically, you know what I'm saying, they might have been kind of like a bully in my life, but they were being bullied by somebody else. And so this was their response and reaction to that, by like, okay, well, they doing this to me, I'm gonna do it to somebody else to make me feel better, type deal. So, Natasha, I appreciate you. You say you've been sleepy but couldn't miss the first night. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I definitely know this is probably late for you, especially if you had to work. Um, so yeah, like again, like the esteem issues, it really just affected a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? It affected my dating life, um, my issues with rejection, and the me being an attention whore for the longest. Um, it affected how I dealt with women. I had deep trust issues with women. Um, it started with my mom. Um, and I mean, she didn't actively like try to do anything to harm me. But just that lack of affection, um, those, things when it came, like I said, when it came to the church, and like, oh, you picking church, over me. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else at the church is hurting, and you running and you breaking your neck and your back to go help them, but me and my brother here at the crib, we like we hurting, or we need this, and it's like, nah. It was this expectation, like, well, we didn't taught y'all the Bible, we didn't taught y'all these principles or whatever. Y'all should be able to handle, what I'm saying, whatever. Like, you okay, you'll be all right. Pray. Like, that's it. Just pray. Okay. So as a kid, you like, what? And then it gets even more confusing, like when you try to do what they say you should be doing, and ain't nothing happening. It's not the outcome that you um, were expecting. You know what I'm saying? Because there's really more to it than that. A lot of people don't, use prayer for the right reasons. That's something else I learned in church. But anywho, I'm not about to make it about that specifically. You know what I'm saying? But that's just part of my story. You know what I'm saying? It really affected, how I dealt with women. So these issues that I had with my mom affected, what I'm saying, how I communicated with other women, how I looked at them, how I received them, or even in a way, I basically was rejecting women, um, you know what I'm saying, because of me feeling this rejection from my mom, you know what I'm saying? And then my only um, experiences with, I guess you could say, my only experience with, love, affection, or whatever, was only ended up being, um, sexual. So the whole idea of being with a woman and just cuddling or hugging and doing a little kissing, like if we did that, then we was about to smash. That was just my thing. You know what I'm saying? And even now, sometimes I feel like I still have remnants of that. You know what I'm saying? Um, there are times where I could just be chilling with my wife. We could be touchy feely for a minute, but a lot of times I still had this habit of like, okay, well, we touchy feely, so that means we about to go, it's about to go down. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason you should be touching me like this. So, you know, I'm still working on that. You know what I'm saying? My wife is amazing, so um, I never want to be that guy that will neglect the needs of his partner. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still working on it. I'm a work in progress on that tip because that's really a deep rooted, thing. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to um, me being um, allergic to affection. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I actually, in a way, I love affection. Like I love hugs. You know what I'm saying? I embrace all my people that I know. Well, at least up until the pandemic, anyway. Um, and so, but when I'm with somebody in that level of intimacy, like outside of the intellectual connection, which is like really big deal for me. Like that's my biggest thing, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to intimacy. Like if I can connect with you here, if you can keep me locked in here mentally, then you got me. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of chicks that I've met back in the day, it was like, man, I can't even hold a conversation with you. I just want to smash. That's it. So that was just my thing. You know what I'm saying? I kept women at a distance on purpose. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it was really just based on these issues that I had with rejection and the lack of attention. So there were certain people that I actually ended up being in a relationship that I shouldn't have been in as long as I was in, because it was that attention whore thing that I had going on where I latched on to this person and um, I wanted her attention so bad and I wanted her to like me as much as I liked her so bad that I just hung on, even though she was treating me like crap. You know what I'm saying? She was treating me like crap. And then I finally, kind of like broke loose from that. Like, okay, yeah, I'm worth more than this. I don't have to be a sad nigga. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, which was crazy because I ended up ruining a a pretty good relationship. The first real serious relationship that I had. And I ruined it because I wanted to have revenge and get back at my ex and treat her the way she treated me, which is really dumb and childish and immature. But that's what I was at that time. And like I said, I was still dealing with a whole bunch of issues and thinking that I was ready to be in this new relationship. and I still had all of this residue from that, and just other stuff, and I ruined that relationship. You know what I'm saying? And I did everything that I thought um, that I could do, or at least I did everything within my own power to correct my wrongs. But sometimes you just can't come back from certain stuff. Like once somebody can't trust you, they may not trust you again. You know what I'm saying? For some people, that's just how it is. And so that was my reality in that situation, and it was a big learning lesson. There was also some other things attached to that um, that that kind of let me see um, you know that my like where my focus was, it was still off. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so then it took a whole bunch, more, I guess you could say, failed attempts um, at relationships to really like get it right. I will say all of those things that I failed at and that I did wrong. Um, I finally it finally clicked with me. You know what I'm saying? We always hear like, yo, if you wanna um get a different result, you gotta do something different, right? You know what I'm saying? You want to see some improvement in certain areas of your life, you got to make a change and you got to do something different in order to reach this different place, in order to reach that new goal. You know what I'm saying? In order to be this new person that you need to be. And so that's what I did in my latest relationship, and now she's my wife because I did something different. You know what I'm saying? Um, my intentions were different. Um, my intentions were pure. Um, I was very, honest and transparent, with her, and I wanted our relationship to be built on that. Because honestly, all the other situations that I had prior to her, um, I wasn't always completely transparent. There was things that I still, held, what I'm saying, on the inside, and that I, kept as secrets or whatever, because I just didn't believe, one, that they would accept it. You know what I'm saying? And then two, I still had trust issues, you know what I'm saying, with women, and feeling like if I, you know, share this with you, are you going to use it against me? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to use that and end up turning it around and like try to emasculate me and, um, you know, denigrate me, beat me down, um, chastise me? You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of experiences where I felt like I was being chastised by the women that I dealt with and the women that I dated. You know what I'm saying? Always hearing stuff like, "You don't know how to be a man. You ain't a real man. A real man do this. A real man do that." You know what I'm saying? And then end up figuring out later, like, she didn't even know what a real man was. What is that? Where did that term come from? You know what I'm saying? And so, for a lot of women, this idea of what a real man is to them comes from whatever experiences that they had, whatever they've been influenced by prior to that. You know what I'm saying? Whether they had a father in a home or, they didn't have a father in a home. You know what I'm saying? Their their own experiences with men in their life is what has determined in their mind what a real man is, or what a man's supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Some Unfortunately, some people don't have any real you know idea of what a man is and what a man should be, or how a man should be, um, because they've come across a lot of broken individuals. They might have grew up with some men who were broken or who were abusive or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying? There's so many branches, what I'm saying, to this topic. And so like I said, I learned a lot of things just for me. I would implore anybody that's, listening, viewing, if you've never, talked to somebody, it's okay to do that. I would highly recommend that you really think about doing that. If you need to get through some things, it's okay to go to counseling. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to go see somebody. I've had an opportunity to go to counseling, go to therapy, and I also I ain't gonna say looked up, but just had the privilege of being around some great men and women who were great mentors. You know what I'm saying? And I gained a lot. You know what I'm saying? And was able to work on the things and issues that I had mentally, the issues that I had, emotionally, and the issues that I had that were tied to my spirit man. You know what I'm saying? So spiritually, um, you know, I had a lot of issues just because of, what I grew up in. You know what I'm saying? So, but it also drove me to learn more, you know what I'm saying, about religion, about spirituality, you know what I'm saying, learning, all I could about the history, um, pertaining to the religion that I grew up in, the religions that I've been surrounded by, and even ones that I didn't know at the time. I've learned about every religion that exists on this planet. You know what I'm saying? And learn, just the history, the origins of those things, how certain things came to be, like the days of the week and the months, and the different, things that happen in each season, and how really everything operates on a cycle. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really think about some of the things that you learned when you were younger that we really didn't kind of pay attention to, you might have glossed over when you learned certain things in like science or whatever. But we're taught about how the earth revolves, is constantly moving, is on this axis, right? It's always in motion. We can't see it, we can't feel it necessarily, but it's always moving, right? And everything happens in cycles. So based on how the earth shifts, you know what I'm saying, that's how these different cycles happen. It's the same thing with animals on this planet, regardless of what species that it is. You know what I'm saying? These animals operate in cycles. How they feed, how they hunt, how they mate. You know what I'm saying? How they have, their offspring. You know what I'm saying? Everything is in a cycle. You know what I'm saying? We see it in other things in nature, like how trees grow and how they wilt and how they grow back. And like, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff, it's a cycle. You know what I'm saying? We can't escape, the science of things. You know what I'm saying? Even though some people try to downplay it like it has no role in spirituality, but it really does. So, but that's another topic. We're going to get into that. Like I said, I got some guests that's going to be coming on the show. It's going to be a lot of different things that we're going to be getting into. It's 10:30. We've been 90 minutes in. I'm not trying to keep y'all. This is really designed to be a 90-minute podcast. There may be some times where we may go to 2 hours depending on the guest, but we're going to be keeping it at 90 minutes. So this is a See-Through podcast. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. This was, just one part of my story. I definitely got other things that I'm going to be sharing each week. And I got other people that'll be coming on who will also, be sharing. If you have any resources, you know what I'm saying, that you could pass on to me as far as, information that I can pass on, I would love to have that. So if you know of any, mental health specialists, anybody that specializes in helping people with emotional health, um, physical health. If you into health and wellness, you're definitely somebody that I want to be able to connect to. I already know some folks that I'm planning on having on the show, but if you know any, definitely send them my way. Those in with the educational background, um, psychological background, you know what I'm saying? And then, one of the other things that I brought up earlier, I want to make sure that I focus on financial health too, with this podcast. And so if you know somebody who is um, in finance, or, is a part of, financial education, who's, into investing, teaching, saying people how to make their money, money work for them. Like, there's a lot of things that I learned last year that I'm definitely going to be sharing, but I'm always looking to, learn more myself. And so being around other people who are definitely smarter than I am, know more than I am, what I'm saying, I want to be connected to those people. So if you know some experts in any of these fields that's connected to mental health, emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, or financial health, let me know. You can shoot me an email at grooveradiodetroit@gmail.com. Just put See Through Podcast in the subject line, so I know that it's about this podcast. And that's See Through, SEE, then THRU. All right. Which, if you missed the beginning part, it's kind of a play on words, because everything about this podcast is based on transparency, and a synonym for transparency is see through. And so that's why I ended up calling this. I just changed the spelling a little bit. I capitalized the U because it's more of a see through you. Get it? See through you. Yeah. So anyway, Chris Lamont, man, I appreciate you tuning in, man. I know you out on the road working, doing your thing. Tradina, I appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to my peeps that tuned in on Mixcloud. Tiana, what's up? Natasha, Angela, I appreciate y'all. Carla, what up? See who else? Some other people I probably missed already. But I really do appreciate y'all tuning in. Shout out to everybody that tuned in on Facebook. My boy Will, Vonda, Dorian, Damien, my cousin Corey. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Ellie San Diego, what up? Felix, what up, bro? Gary Chandler, I appreciate you, bro, for popping in. My cousin Ben. I had some of my other family that popped in. Jay on my grind, what up? My cousin George out in LA. Appreciate you tuning in, man. So I'm gonna be doing this every Tuesday, 9 p.m. See Through Podcast. And we're gonna be keeping it raw, keeping it uncut. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it honest, full transparency. And the main thing is that I want to help facilitate healing for people. You know what I'm saying? Giving people an opportunity to share, what they've gone through. And it don't even have to be something from the past. It could be something that you're, presently dealing with. You know what I'm saying? If you're comfortable with sharing, I'd love to have you. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I appreciate y'all. Do me a favor, man. Follow my radio station, Groove Radio Detroit. You can go to grooveradiodetroit.com. You can, check in, sign up for the mailing list or whatever, so you get updates on what's popping, what's going on. Follow the radio station on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Groove Radio DET. Thank you for, just tuning in, man. Our main channel, mixcloud.com/live/Groove Radio DET. Our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Groove Radio DET. Again, we on Facebook. You'll always be able to find us there. Just I appreciate y'all, man, for real, for real. All right. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Um, oh, last thing. So if you want to support the radio station and you want to be able to support this show, some of my other shows that I got tons of other people that are doing some dope shows, which you really can go and see about by going to the website or by going to our Mixcloud channel. You can actually donate if you want to, show some love and not just to my show, but to all those that are on here. You can donate via PayPal, paypal.me/GrooveRadioDET. You can also subscribe to our channel. It gives you an opportunity to get all of the shows that we have on the station right now. You'll be able to go back and stream all of our past shows. You can download the shows that you like. I got not only the shows that's up, but I got mixes that's up there too. So for those that want to get your groove on and have some music to vibe to work out to, or whatever, you can find that as well. And so subscription to our music channel is $4.99 per month. The coolest thing about it is that, especially for our music shows, our artists are getting especially the indie artists and local artists that we have here, whose music that I play, they get royalties from us playing their music. So that's like a really big deal to me. That's why I chose this platform to use to start the station. Real soon, you will see information about um, our main server that will be up soon with our launch of the station, 24/7 music and talk radio, podcasts, and mix shows. So that's coming real soon. So be on the lookout on that. So GrooveRadioDetroit.com. Stay connected with us. All right. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll catch y'all next week, man. 9 o'clock, Tuesday nights. All right. Peace.